Hello my lovely crafters, this is Crafty Sue 519. Welcome to my channel. And today is Tea Tuesday. No tea for me today. Still Diet Coke. It's another afternoon Tea Tuesday. And I have a special guest today, Mr. Grumpy.
Hello.
And we are going to tell you a story about when my besties, my YaYa's, came out to California for a week to visit. Now, this picture was taken a long time ago. None of us look like this anymore. But this is Elaine, this is me, Janet, and Carol. So, they decided that they were all going to come out to spend a week in California with us. We were living in a town called Antioch at the time. And Grumpy got them all, what do you call that?
Buddy passes.
Buddy passes on United Airlines, so they didn't have to pay for their flights to come out to see us. So, comes the day that they're supposed to fly out, and they were flying from Boston to San Francisco, and we drive down to San Francisco to get them. And we were a little early, so we had a good time in San Francisco, and suddenly I get a call from one of the girls, Janet, I believe, saying, you're not going to believe what happened. And I'm saying to myself, what the heck is she doing calling me? She should be on the airplane. Well, they weren't. They missed their flight. How did they miss their flight? Well, their flight was delayed for a little bit, so they thought it would be a great idea to go to the Sam Adams bar in the Boston airport and have a beer while they were waiting. Well, I think
That's
they had...
so Janet.
It is so Janet. And Elaine. And I think they had more than one, because at some point, one of them looked out the window and saw their airplane leaving, backing out. They missed their flight. Drinking beer. Stinkers.
So they said they went screaming up to the
counter.
The podium person. We're supposed to be on that flight. We're supposed to be on that flight. And they said, look out. Do you see it at the gate? No. Bye.
So they fortunately were able to get on the next flight, which meant we had to sit around San Francisco for a very long time. Hours. Thing was, all of their luggage was on that first flight, along with all their carry-ons that they had left on the plane. So Grumpy, being a United Airlines employee...
And a big deal at that, too.
Okay, if you say so. When that first plane landed, we had to go to the airport, and he had to show his ID and all of that stuff, that he worked for United. And
when the plane unloaded everybody and there was nobody left, I went down the jetway and I had my ID. I always have my United ID when we went to the airport, and my business cards. And I went on the plane, which was empty, and the stewardesses were in the back galley cleaning up. And one of them come up to me and she says, "What do you want?" Which is unusual to have somebody they don't know come on the plane when it's empty. And I identified myself, told them what happened, and I said I had three companions on the plane. They missed their plane, and I'm looking at their carry-on luggage. And I said, that's their carry-on, and I'm here to get it off the plane. And she was more than happy to let me have it. And I got it, and off I went.
so then we had to go to luggage and wait for their luggage to come up and get their luggage too. Little stinkers.
That was all a plan, I'm sure.
So we ended up going to the store, buying a game. I think we bought like a little travel backgammon game or something. And we went to IHOP, I believe, and sat there for hours waiting for their new plane to come in. Playing backgammon and drinking coffee. So we finally get to the airport when their plane is supposed to land. And I said to Grump, I said, watch this. I know these girls. First one off is going to be Janet, and she is going to be loud, and the whole place is going to hear her, and she's going to be laughing her butt off. Right behind her is going to be Elaine, laughing like crazy, and timid little Carol is going to be the last one going,
Trying to hide.
trying to hide and hope we're not mad at her. And
off they come, and all I hear is, and here they come. Here they are.
yeah, we're here. It's like, yeah, like 6 hours late, and we've been sitting here forever.
They didn't care.
They didn't care.
No.
Didn't matter.
We missed our plane. I said, yeah, no stuff.
So anyhow,
We're going to plug in. Hang on.
no,
No.
can't.
Okay, we're not going to plug in.
No. So, hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. So, home we go. Well, we had plans for the next day to go to Napa. So, we were up early.
Wine country. In case
Napa
they don't
is
know.
one of the wine countries or whatever in California. We loved going there. We went there way too many times.
Nah.
In the 14 years I lived there, anyhow, we were there a lot.
Spinach salad.
Oh, and Calistoga. So anyhow, the next morning we get up and we get ready and off to wine country we go. And I do have pictures of it, but I wasn't going to go and dig them all out. So I can't show you that. So look at my beautiful friends. Anyhow, the first stop we make was to a champagne estate called Domaine Carneros, owned by the Tattinger family. And I'm sure you've heard the name Tattinger before. And this place is gorgeous. It's a big French chateau out on acres and acres and acres of gardens and
On a hill overlooking all that.
oh, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. So bright and early in the morning when they opened, we were there and sat out on the big porch that they have, and they brought us out the champagne and crackers and cheese, and that was actually our breakfast.
Yeah, it was. Good breakfast.
It
I
was-
recommend it anytime.
And we happily sipped champagne to start off our day. It was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we left Tattinger's and drove into Napa on the main road where there are a lot of wineries. There are so many wineries in Napa. You could go there 1,000 times and never see them all. Anyhow, our first stop was at Robert Mondavi Winery. And we picked this place because this is one of the only ones, if not the only one, that shows how wine is made from the time, they pick the grapes and the grapes come into the place and everything. It's a fun little place to visit. And I don't mind Mondavi wine. It's pretty good.
It's very good wine.
So we went there. Nothing exciting happened. We just walked around and
It's stuffy, though. That place is pretentious.
a little pretentious. So then we went
One
to
pinky.
yeah, and then we went to Satui Winery.
Unpretentious.
Very unpretentious. Has a great deli that you can grab something to eat and a lot of fun. A lot of fun at Satui. It's a beautiful old building, old stone building, and beautiful grounds.
Always packed.
Always packed with
With a
people.
giant chair.
Yeah. And as we're standing at the bar, and these back then when we went to the wineries, it did not cost you anything to taste wine. You just said what you wanted and they gave it to you. Nowadays, you have to pay to taste wine. But it was free back then, and we took advantage of it.
Oh, yeah. We're already halfway there from the champagne.
So yeah, we were. So we're wine tasting at the bar, and this guy who was serving starts hitting on Janet. It was the funniest thing. She's married. We're all married, except Carol. She was divorced at the time. And Janet got the biggest kick out of that this guy was hitting on her, and she was just flirting back. It was
Oh, yeah.
hysterical. But the good thing about it was he just loved her, so whatever we wanted, he gave us. So it was wonderful. We had a wonderful time at Satui. From there, I think we had lunch after that. And we had gone to this wonderful restaurant. I cannot for the life of me remember the name. I don't know if it's still there. I just know the name Noir was in its name, but I can't remember. It was a beautiful restaurant.
It's very good too.
Excellent food. Excellent food. And we needed it, believe me, because we were, by this time we had gone through our third winery.
We were on our way back to Boston.
Oh, it was very, very good. Great restaurant. So we left there and we went to Behringer's. Behringer's is where the movie A Walk in a Cloud was filmed with Keanu Reeves. If any of you saw that and you saw the caves where they kept the wine barrels, that's Behringer's. Been there many, many, many times.
Interesting factoid about Behringer's Winery. It was the only winery allowed to produce wine during Prohibition because they were producing sacramental wine.
That's true. And it was Brothers or something that owned it at the time, or had something to do with
family.
it. Anyhow, went to Behringer's. That's always a lot of fun. I enjoyed
It's
Behringer's a
good wine.
lot. It's not expensive wine like Mondavi, but just fun to visit. Just nice to walk in those caves. Every time I walked in those caves, I looked around hoping I would see Keanu come walking through. Never happened. Never happened. Then we went over the mountain and down into Sonoma. Personally, I like Sonoma better than Napa. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's not as crowded as Napa is.
It's 8 times more pretentious than
It is so pretentious. It's incredible, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I love Sonoma.
If you go to Sonoma, you have to be a black belt wino.
Yeah. We have our favorite winery is in Sonoma, and it is called Ledson. And we were going, the people who own this winery, the father is a builder. And he built the most gorgeous house I've ever seen in my life on that property. And it was not intended to be a winery. It was going to be his personal home. But he did plant grapes out front. So everybody thought the place was a winery, and they kept coming and knocking on their door.
The castle.
Yeah, to see if they could taste the wine. And he got so fed up with that he says, oh, the heck with it. Let's turn it into a winery. So he built another home for the family in the town of Sonoma, not out in the country area where this was. And they put a little trailer out in the parking lot while they were getting ready to open the big winery. And we frequented that little trailer.
Yeah, we did.
And when they opened up the big winery, they called us trailer trash.
We were among the firsts.
Because we were the first. So it was great because we would get invites to all of these prestigious events, and
we'd have the son, Michael, call us.
Yeah, Michael
say,
would call and say, I got this wine
got
coming
this
up.
wine."
I've only got so many bottles. Do you want any?
Yeah, and we bought it.
Of course we bought it. Of course we bought it. And Michael, oh, he was handsome. He was one handsome guy.
We would go into Ledson, and Michael would be behind the bar serving and would recognize Sue. And he'd go, oh, here she comes. And she would say, you know, I'm going to own this house one day.
I would say that
And he
every time.
goes, yeah? Okay.
I would sit outside in the backyard. In the back of it, they had this bench, and I would just sit there looking at the back of the house saying, I'm going to own this one day. Of course, I never could afford it, and it became this great winery anyhow. But, oh my gosh, I love that place. And Michael, miss them. And from there, we went on to another very, very prestigious winery called Viari Corano. And
There's the house,
oh yeah, it's beautiful.
if you want to.
See if it gives you a big. This is the Ledson house. Oh my gosh, my favorite place.
All
Look
the
at this.
woodworking in it.
Look at that. If you saw the inside of this house and the woodwork, it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Look at that. That's the inside. Oh, my favorite place ever. Favorite place ever. Anyhow, beautiful, beautiful winery. So we're at Ferrari Corano, and that's another beautiful place. They have cork trees growing there.
For their own corks.
For their own corks. It's crazy. Very prestigious, very uppity.
Pretentious.
Very very pretentious, but beautiful, like a big castle. That's what I liked about Sonoma. The buildings were incredible, and on acres and acres and acres of land, they were just so beautiful. And we bought some sweet wine there, and they had this chocolate sauce that you could dip your little pretzels in and eat, and it was so good. So we bought some of those pretzels and chocolate sauce along with that sweet wine. And that was it. By this time, we were having a pretty good time. We were cracking up and having a great time. And home we went. And that evening, me and my 3 YaYa's sat outside on our patio, drinking the sweet wine and dipping those little pretzels into the chocolate sauce, and then wearing nothing but a t-shirt and our panties. And he loved it.
What's not to love?
He loved it. He says, "This is the greatest week ever. I get to." You get to what?
Be with 4 women in their underwear.
It's so funny. He was just walking around the house with a big smile on his face. He was having a grand old time.
How often does that happen? And I don't get in trouble.
Oh, it was fun. We had such a good time, and we're leaving so much out because we would be here for hours telling you just about that one day in Napa. So another day, we went to San Francisco, and if any of you have been to San Francisco, when you go down near the piers, Pier 39 in that area, there's a lot of street entertainment. A lot. Some of it is great. Some of it's stupid. I love it. I absolutely love it. I could go to San Francisco every weekend and see the same people over and over again doing their bit to make some money. And so we took the girls. We took the girls down to Pier 39.
Nothing like Pier 39.
Yeah. And
Including the stinky sea lions.
yes. Lots of seals. Lots of seals took over one of the, what do you call that, docks.
Yeah.
And very noisy and very stinky. But cool to see at the same time. So while we were there was a group of kids dressed up like these punk rock kids. And I said, come on, let's go and take our pictures with them. Because you could do that and throw them a couple of bucks and they were happy to pose with you.
Yeah.
And so here we are. Me and my good friends and the punk rockers.
Carol wants to die in this picture.
There's Carol, Elaine, me, and Janet. We had a blast. And they were the nicest kids. They were really, really nice. They really put on a good act for us.
And when the picture was done and everything was done, they all go, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Oh, it was fun. It was so much fun. There were so many
picture.
I love that picture too. It was fun. Anyhow, we're looking at the picture again because
Carol wants to crawl away and hide someplace.
Yeah, she was used to me dragging her around doing things she wasn't used to. Carol was a middle school math teacher, and she's very quiet, very mousy, And fantastic friend.
I think Janet
Fantastic
wants to run away with this guy.
Yeah, maybe she did. Maybe she did. And Elaine says, "Oh, I'm here. What the heck? I'm having a grand old time." But
And Sue's saying, "These are my people."
yeah, it was a blast. It was a blast. I think the best thing we ever saw, the best person we ever saw in San Francisco was this guy who would stand on a street corner with a branch. He would break off a tree.
Bushman.
And he would put it in front of him and just crouch down behind this bush. Well, people are so busy, they don't bother looking around to see what's going on. And people would cross the street and have to come right near him. So as they crossed the street and they're just blabbing with one another, and they got to where he was, he would shake that bush and those people would jump and scream.
We used to watch that for hours.
Oh my gosh, it was hysterical. We would stand across the street and just laugh and laugh. Oh gosh, it was funny.
But the best was, and I have to tell this story, was a guy in a big washing machine box or something, and he had it cut out to make it look like a theater or a TV. And when people came by, he opened it up and did a little show with his hands like puppets. We walked by, and when we were coming back, it was all closed up. And when we passed the box, he opened up the doors and grabbed Sue on the arm. And she she almost flew out of her skin. It was the funniest thing I ever saw. She screamed and everything, and everybody stops and looks and claps, and yay, he got her good. I gave him $5. I put $5 in his box, and all of a sudden I hear him say, "Hey, thanks, man. It's hot in here. I'm saving up for an air conditioner."
Oh, it was so funny. Oh, there was another guy who would stand there in a cow costume, and he would just have this black and white cow outfit on with these big udders. And he would pull on the udders and just go moo, moo. I thought he was hysterical. And the first time I saw somebody sitting on the street, very derelict, very homeless looking, with a little piece of cardboard, and on it was written, "Why lie? It's for beer." I died. I thought that was hysterical, and that's one person I gave money to. Because what the heck, he was telling the truth.
This is San Francisco.
I love San Francisco. I loved San Francisco. I could go there more often if Grumpy would take me, but...
And you get to walk over to the next pier from Pier 39, which is just not very far, and get fresh cracked crab.
Oh my gosh.
Dungeness crab right there, right off the pier.
So good. So good. And walk another block and you're at Ghirardelli's.
And with sourdough boudin in between.
That's right. So good. Love San Francisco. I think we totally got off the...
Yeah, we're off the track here.
Our memories have overtaken us.
I'd take Prevagen, except it's $60 a bottle. I checked.
Oh gosh, we had a good time. We ended up that day in San Francisco going to, with the coffee.
Oh, the Buena Vista Cafe, where Irish coffee was invented, supposedly. And we had our drinks, and it was a very intimate little bar, not very big, very dark, wood, looked like one of those big old-fashioned libraries around a fireplace, and had sofas. It was spectacular. It was great. Just having an Irish coffee in the place where supposedly it was invented, one of the places. It was fun. Great. Loved it.
It was a nice way to end the day.
Yep.
So home we went. And those are the only things we're going to tell you about because this video is getting way too long.
But you're having a good time, I know.
I did go up to Lake Tahoe, just me and the girls, for a couple days. That's another time. But it was a great week. Oh, I hated to see them leave. We had so much fun that week.
We took them to the airport to go home and made goddamn sure they were getting on that plane. Sorry. Damn sure.
Yeah. Watch it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So,
And they got
anyhow,
on the plane.
it was a phenomenal week with my friends. Phenomenal week. Now, believe it or not, Elaine, right here, and Carol, both, Elaine lives here in Florida permanently, and
Winter
Carol,
Haven, I believe.
not Winter Haven, Winter something else. And Carol lives
Ocala.
in Ocala part of the year. She's a snowbird. And Janet's sister lives here, and she's talking about moving down here too. So the YaYa's are all
May ride again.
from Rhode Island, and may all be reunited here in Florida. What are the chances of that? Anyhow, okay, we've talked enough. Anyhow, I guess I'll end it here. I don't know what else to say, but yay, la la, YaYa's, I love you, I love you, I love you, and hope to see you all again sometime soon. All right, everyone, until the next time, love yous.
Bye.
Bye.